Coming up on Quays TV News today, a scheme for sex workers to report serious crimes faces funding problems. Britain's Got Talent auditions came to Salford Quays. Sean Anstey is the new Trafford Council leader at only 26 years old. And why water polo might no longer be an Olympic sport for Team GB. Hello and welcome to Quays TV News. I'm Sophie Whitfield. We start today with some breaking news. The apparent suicide of a former biology teacher thought to have taken an overdose after becoming obsessed about plastic surgery, ruining her glamorous looks. Victoria Mappen Walter left a suicide note claiming surgery to cover a mole left her in a living hell. The note was discovered by her husband Ashley, grandfather of the former Manchester City youngster Courtney Mappen Walter. A scheme that encourages sex workers to report serious crimes by clients is in danger of closing due to lack of funds. The Ugly Mug scheme was funded by the Home Office in its pilot year, but now relies on private funding and donations. Siobhan Maguire has more.
In the North West, there are over 200 members in the National Ugly Mug scheme. Alex Bryce is manager of the scheme.
We support sex workers when they're victims of crime in reporting to the police if they want to, and if they don't want to report to the police, but they give us permission to share the intelligence anonymously. Actually funded as a pilot by the Home Office, and that funding ended last year. So we've been running ourselves on donations from police forces throughout the country. Our private funding kind of pulled out, and we also didn't get an EU funding bid that we expected to get.
Detective Inspector Simon Davies of Greater Manchester Police says that without the scheme and the option of anonymity, many incidents would go unreported.
There's going to be a gap in our intelligence gathering systems, so that, you know, if there is someone who's clearly committing offences in the areas of Manchester where sex workers operate, then the police simply might not know about it.
This sex worker we spoke to and whose identity we have protected says schemes like Ugly Mugs are needed to ensure their safety.
I was being harassed by someone who was offering a lot of money for me to get into the porn industry. He said that he was working for a reputable company. They'd never heard of him, and he was very insistent. He was trying to track down where I lived, what my phone number was, and it really did open my eyes. I always knew there was a risk, but something in my mind told me not to think about it too much, because I actually stopped doing the job and I needed the money. And I think it's just amazing that it gives all the alerts to people, that makes them more aware, makes them look out for things.
43 projects are represented by the National Ugly Mug scheme in the North West. 7 of those are in the Greater Manchester area. One such project is Manchester Action on Street Health.
We have to remember that the reason it started was because we needed to keep the women safer. Perpetrators of violence will travel across the country, and obviously, the work that they've done in the last 12 months, I mean, they've been part and parcel of, sharing information.
More information on the scheme can be found on quaysnews.net. This is Siobhan Maguire, Quays TV News.
We gave the Home Office a right to reply on this issue, but we haven't had a response before going on air, so they have had the chance. Now, the Trafford has got its new councillor, the country's youngest, Sean Anstey. Our reporter Marina Heristova went to Trafford Town Hall to find out more about his future career development.
Trafford Council became recently famous for the country's youngest council leader. The new leader of Trafford Council, Sean Anstey, has been recently elected as the former councillor, Matthew College, resigned last month. The Conservative leader for Bowden vied for the position with the councillor for Ashton upon Mersey, John Lamb. The chairman will be responsible for all main decisions as well as management strategies according to the budget of the council and the policy framework.
Two things. I want to make sure that we continue to have the best education for our young people in the country, which is one of the things that we do now. I want to make sure that we deliver Metrolink to Trafford Park. It's a huge project for us. I want to be able to have our communities thriving and prosperous with jobs being created for people. And I want to make sure that we have council tax the lowest in the North West.
Michael Young is impressed by the work of the new councillor.
And has done an excellent job in managing and helping to prepare some very complex budgets which are being made in extremely difficult situations.
The new councillor is looking forward to his political career.
This is an interesting game. Sometimes you get yourself into situations at the right time, and those sort of circumstances may arise, but it's not something that's top of my list of things to do at the moment. Right now, it is about concentrating on Trafford.
Councillor Anstey is looking forward to next month, when he will officially take over his role as Trafford's council leader and hopes to be judged on his achievements rather than his age. For Quays News, Marina Christova.
A new exhibition has opened at the Imperial War Museum to show the work of volunteers in Syria. Syria, Humanity and Conflict provides a collection of photographs and personal accounts that give an insight into how much the volunteers do for those who are caught up in the fighting. 32 volunteers have been killed so far, but many do not want to leave the confliction zone in fear of more lives being lost. The Wythenshawe and Sale East by-election will be held tomorrow following the death of Labour councillor Paul Goggins. The constituency has been held by Labour since 1997. 7 candidates are running: Daniel Critchlow for Conservatives, Mike Kane for Labour, Mary Di Mauro for the Liberal Democrats, Nigel Woodcock for the Green Party, Eddie O'Sullivan of BNP, John Bickley, member for the UKIP, and Captain Chaplington Smith of the Monster Raving Loony Party. The Queer Media Festival took place at Media City UK as part of the Lesbian and Gay History Month. LGBT-related films such as Silent, Kit and Polaroid were shown to a sold-out audience. The event included question and answer sessions with directors and media professionals. The Britain's Got Talent auditions roadshow came to Manchester this weekend. Cameron Coulavuz reports.
The Britain's Got Talent auditions are in Manchester this weekend, and they're bringing their cameras to Salford's Lowry Theatre for the 3rd year running. Thousands of fans braved the elements on a windy day at the Quays, but the bad weather did little to dampen the spirits of Yvonne and Lisa, who'd brought an army of supporters to help cheer on their daughter's dance team, Collision.
They smash every competition we've always go to. Disneyland, we've
Disneyland in March as well.
As the stormy weather continued, there seemed to be only one name on the lips of the 2,000 fans gathered outside the Lowry Theatre.
Yes, we're cold but we're excited.
Which judge are you looking forward to seeing the most?
Simon!
Why is that?
Just a bit of and a bit of Anthem Deck.
And despite a wait of over 2 hours due to the lateness of a certain Mr. Cowell, the atmosphere was electric when the auditions eventually got underway. The mix of talent was diverse to say the least, ranging from singers and dancers to doggy discos and a Geordie dressed as a toilet. Viewers will have to wait until the spring to see if the judges told him to bog off. Fingers crossed this report doesn't get 3 buzzers from the judges. Cameron Cullivis, Quays TV News.
And now joining me in this studio is the lovely Will Carlisle. So Will, are you a fan of Britain's Got Talent?
I don't like watching the auditions, seems a bit mean-spirited, but
That's
I do...
the best bit when they're all really bad.
I'm one of the few people who actually really like the live shows.
Oh, right.
But that's just me. I understand the appeal.
That's when all the good ones come in. So Will, you're talking about the Lego movie today.
Yep, the Lego movie.
What can we expect to see?
A lot better than you would think it would be. Like, you think Lego movie and you think, oh, well, what are we in for? They've really run out of ideas.
Is it for children or is it for adults?
I think if you're a 9-year-old child or a 90-year-old child, you'll find something to love about this movie. Because, to be honest, I loved it. It was an amazing movie. It's one of those movies where it literally has something for everybody. There's drama, romance, action. It's very smart, well thought out. It's surprisingly complex, but not in a pretentious way, in a way that children will be able to really look back on and really think that this movie treated me as the same way it treated the adults. It's just a very funny movie as well. It's a dozen laughs a minute and the animation's beautiful. Like, if I could just demonstrate, I've got the villain of the movie. President Business is played by Will Ferrell in the film. But these are just very rigid, very lightweight and featherweight, but they've got a lot of personality in the film. It's animated beautifully.
When can we get to see it, Will?
It opens on Friday.
That's great. So it's definitely a first date movie for Valentine's Day.
This should be a good one.
So now, over to Jess with the sport.
Thanks, Soph. Well, with the Winter Olympics taking place in Sochi, some sports for the Summer Olympics in 2016 may be under threat. Will Moorcroft has more.
Qualification for the British Water Polo Championships is well underway, but among the excitement, a feeling of shock. UK Sport is cutting £4.5 million of funding ahead of the 2016 Olympics due to slim medal prospects.
Nothing's changed in the last 10 months. They're on track to do what they're set out to do. So I think if they were in a position to be funded 10 months ago, I don't see what's changed.
Having represented GB in London, Adam knows the excitement of playing in the Olympics, but is worried about the future.
Yeah, it's incredible, once in a lifetime opportunity, and it's sad that it looks like it's going to be a long time before GB there again.
There was further disappointment among coaches, fans and parents who think UK sport are making a big mistake.
The sports that have been given funding at the higher level don't reflect what kids are going to be doing in primary school. The increased funding to things like equestrian, fencing, to me it's a complete misnomer.
Should be spread out more evenly rather than given to the elites who still become more elite and become like the Premiership in football. Olympic winners in the past, so should definitely be given some money.
We pay hundreds of pounds out every month. We've travelled the country. When he played in Sunderland in the qualifiers, the atmosphere was fantastic. We've got facilities like Manchester, we've got facilities like Sunderland. The facilities are there. We just need the money to get the guys in one place and train them.
Barring a successful appeal in March though, the Championships may be the best they can hope to compete.
Apologies for the technical difficulties there, but you can see the full interview with Adam on our website, quaysnews.net. Now, Manchester City midfielder Yaya Touré has escaped FA action after appearing to kick out at Norwich centre-forward Ricky van Wolfswinkel. The incident happened in the 0-0 draw at Carrow Road on Saturday. Despite reacting badly to the incident at the time, Van Wolfswinkel took to Twitter to share his delight at the FA's decision, tweeting, "Good to see Touré not getting suspended. Players like him belong on the pitch." We've also collected some of your tweets on Twitter about the subject. Tom Blake said, "How did Bellamy get a ban and Yaya Touré didn't? Major inconsistency. If one gets banned, surely the other should be. Both similar offences." Former ex-footballer Robbie Fowler also said, "What a player he is, but how has Yaya Touré got away with that?" And Sean Sheep also tweeted, saying he will not face action for his blatant stamp. Disgraceful. Now we've been joined by our sport correspondent, Johnny Escott. Can you give us a bit of a clearance on what's going on here? Everyone's getting really confused. Can you tell us a little bit about the FA and how the panel works?
Well, basically, to start off with, there's 3 people on the panel, and they look at every camera angle taken, so that can be from high in the stands or on pitch level, and they look at everyone, and then they vote. They don't know what each other have voted for, so it's all confidential. So, and all three of them have to vote for one decision. And if they don't, let's say 2 vote for him to be suspended and 1 votes for him to be let off, then he'll be let off.
So do you think it needs change in the whole system?
Yeah, I definitely think it does. I don't think 3 people is enough. I think you need more than 3 opinions, especially with it could make or break a season, because in this case it could have been worth 10, 12 matches even. So it needs more priority.
And having seen the Yaya Touré incident back, what do you think to it? Should he have been banned?
Personally, I definitely think it should be banned. I mean, he's kicking someone on the floor, which you can get arrested for that in the street. So it's not setting a good example to fans. Kids see that.
And especially looking back from earlier incidents, Rooney's, Bellamy's more recently as well, I think people are feeling a bit hard done to because of the inconsistency. What can be done about that, do you think?
I think the FA needs to release the guidelines. I think they need to tell the public what is a ban and what isn't a ban, because like you said, Rooney kicked out at Cardiff Jordan Much early in the season, and it was a suspension, but he didn't get one, whereas Craig Bellamy, he punched someone, but it wasn't really a punch, it was more of a push, and yeah, he's got 3 games for it.
I know, well hopefully it'll be cleared up soon. Thank you so much, Johnny. Now that's it from sport, back to Sophie.
Thanks, Jess. Now the weather is so bad that even our weather presenter couldn't make it in today, and it's not set to get any better for the next few weeks, unfortunately. We currently have 3 weather warnings for the region for snow, rain and winds, so be careful out there. For a full weather report, please go to quaysnews.net. That's all from us here at Quays TV News. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Quays News, online at quaysnews.net and on Facebook. We'll see you next Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Thank you very much for watching and goodbye.